It's time now for the GBN Luncheon edition of news for today, Monday, June 29th, 2026. Coming up in the news, island-wide diaspora spice replanting initiative rolled out on the weekend and permission granted for Guelph fishermen's birthday festivities after protest action. In the region, 4 female teenagers died in a major accident in the Bahamas. On the international front, Iran and the U.S. still in talks. And in sport, Roach reveals in landmark achievement as West Indies demolish Sri Lanka. We have details of these and other stories when we return. The first segment of the news comes to you compliments Bryden and Miners. Thanks for joining us with the details. I am Christlina John. Despite the lower than expected participation from returning nationals, the Prettier Larceny Unit, agricultural extension officers, members of the diaspora and local farmers braved the inclement weather to take part in Sunday's spice replanting initiative in St. David, reaffirming their commitment to revitalizing Grenada's spice industry. The initiative, which forms part of the 2026 Diaspora Homecoming celebration, runs from June into early July. 4 farms across the parish were selected to benefit from the project, where participants planted a variety of traditional spice crops, including nutmeg, cinnamon, bay leaf, and clove, preserving Grenada's reputation as the Isle of Spice. GBN News team was there and spoke with Lauren St. Louis, the Chief Extension Officer in the Ministry of Agriculture. She indicated that 3 acres of lands will be resuscitated in St. David as part of the Diaspora Homecoming event. Over 200 plants will be planted altogether on the 4 selected farms.
So today we're going to engage 4 farmers. This is, well, the 2 farms are very close together. The boundary is by the one of the trees there. So we're going to engage 2 farmers. We've already planted a few plants at each area. And now we're going to go to the other 2 which are higher up. This event is extremely important because spices are our legacy. In Grenada, we're the Isle of Spice, and it gives everybody a sense of belonging, a sense of responsibility when everybody plants a spice tree.
St. Louis said this will not be the only project.
Other than just this part, we will be expanding to the schools, to the hotels, to anybody who's interested. We have private citizens who have shown their interest, and we will get those plants to them. And of course, the Ministry of Agriculture, through the government of Grenada, we have an official spice replanting program that, well, this is a kickoff from it, where we'll be planting, it's about 300 acres. That is our ultimate goal, of planting 300 acres of spices, and we'll be starting from here and going forward.
Returning nationals shared their perspective on the entire homecoming event.
I thought it was well thought out, and there is teething problems, but a lot of the people I met, they were, all excited of the homecoming and the prospect of what's been developed through Grenada, and it's giving everyone a bit more comfortable to return, especially the polarity. Today is getting the whole community to join in to plant, put in a spice plant, which is really good, and then to watch the growth of it and to feel that you're part of it and you're part of Spice Island, which which is great, and a lot of, people has turned out to make this event a successful one.
I was very fortunate to take part in the island tour that we had a few days ago. This was very inspiring, and I'm very happy that I was able to take part. Today I'm back here with the planting of the spices, and I was able to plant my cinnamon tree, and I've even named it. So I'm very inspired too that I was able to give him the opportunity to come back, and that's a very good initiative for Grenada.
The farm of James Mahon was among the farms selected.
5 acres of land, and I'll be planting 50 plants, which is around an acre. Yeah, but with the different spices as I just told you. Very good initiative. Grenada over the years have been known as the Isle of Spice, and in recent time I think we would have lost some grounds when it comes to spices, and I think what we need to do is to really go on a big replanting drive, and I think that's a very, very, very good initiative. You have children, for example, who don't even know what is a pimento plant. They don't even know what is a mountain spice or bourbon. So I think it's a golden opportunity, a very good initiative to have a spice replanting project.
Still on the local front, after a wave of protest action on Friday in response to previous restrictions, the Royal Grenada Police Force, the RGPF, has reversed course and granted permission for the Guava fishermen's birthday celebrations to proceed, subject to strict safety and traffic arrangements. The decision comes after senior police officers met with the parliamentary representative for St. John and members of the Guava Improvement Committee to address mounting concerns from residents and stakeholders. The meeting resulted in a series of compromises aimed at balancing public safety with the community's desire to uphold the long-standing tradition. Key agreements include no physical structures are to be erected across the main road, ensuring traffic can flow. Vendors will be allowed to operate along the sides of the road and may play music at reasonable volumes. Music will only be permitted after the conclusion of the church service and can continue until 2 a.m. Usual bypass routes will be implemented to accommodate regular vehicular traffic. A stage may be erected along St. Dominic's Street behind the gas station. The RGPF has also emphasized that emergency vehicles and large trucks must have uninterrupted access to Central and Upper Depredin streets at all times during the celebration. The Monongolia Economy, Advocacy and Charity Foundation, Inc. has launched its inaugural Young and Outstanding Stewardship Award. The award will recognize a primary school student who has demonstrated exceptional kindness, humanitarian values, and care for others, animals, and the environment. This new accolade reflects the Foundation's commitment to nurturing a culture of responsibility and positive citizenship in Grenada's schools and communities. The recipient will receive a formal certificate of Young and Outstanding Stewardship, a selection of educational books on animals' welfare, empathy, and environmental stewardship, a curated stationery package, and a back-to-school support grant valued at $300 EC. Funded by Mandesa Creverill, a Trinidad and Tobago national with Grenadian roots, the Magnolia Advocacy and Charity Foundation is a U.S.-registered nonprofit working to advance animal welfare, humanitarian values, and community empowerment across Trinidad and Tobago, Grenada, and the wider Caribbean. The first ever Young and Outstanding Stewardship Award will be presented during the upcoming graduation ceremony at the St. Joseph's RC School in Pomrose on Wednesday, July 1st, 2026, shining a spotlight on youth who are making a difference in their communities. On this note, we end the first segment of the news, which came to you compliments Brighton and Miners. Do stay with us. The regional highlights as well as international and sporting highlights are up next.
Before the digital age, before the world moved at the speed of a click, there was a signal connecting a nation. In 1986, a journey in broadcasting began in Grenada, a journey that would grow into a trusted voice across the country. For 40 years, through radio and television, we've been there for the stories that shaped our nation, the news that mattered, the voices that informed us, the moments that brought us together. Your stories, your voices, your moments. The Grenada Broadcasting Network, 40 years strong. One nation, one network.
Thanks for staying with us. And now for a probe across the region. 4 female teenagers died in a major accident in the Bahamas. We have details to this and other stories in today's regional news roundup from the OCM News Network. This segment of the news comes to you compliments of Fortune Foods Limited.
Looking to take your business to new heights? Advertise with GBN on our social media platforms and get noticed by our 138,000 plus followers. Reach a massive engaged audience ready to connect with your brand. No matter your business size, GBN is here to help you grow. Contact us today at admin@gbn.gd or WhatsApp 407-8458 to get started.
Officer told members of the media yesterday the accident occurred at around 1:40 a.m.
EMS was dispatched and responded to the scene where they made a check of the occupants of the vehicle. There were 8 occupants in total of the Mazda vehicle. 5 of the victims were taken to the hospital via EMS, and an examination of 3 of the victims would have shown no vital signs of life.
The officer made an appeal to all motorists.
What we know of the victims are that there are 4 females that appear to be in their teenage years. And so often we would stand here and we would say 1 life lost in a fatal car crash is 1 too many. So tonight, this morning, we have 4 victims, 4 female young victims who would have lost their lives in this traffic crash this morning. And so we are imploring all drivers to slow down, drive within the speed limit, wear your seatbelt, because it's an unfortunate and sad situation here today.
A 25-year-old man remains hospitalized and was up to yesterday listed in a stable condition. Prime Minister Philip Davis has issued a public statement expressing his condolences to the families and friends of the victims. Sections of eastern Jamaica, including the corporate area, were rocked by an earthquake with a magnitude of 4.1. Yesterday morning, initial data from the earthquake unit at the University of the West Indies Mona campus said the quake struck at approximately 11:45 a.m. There were no reports of damage or injuries. And an advanced team from the Barbados Defense Force is now deployed in earthquake-affected Venezuela for the purpose of establishing its field medical hospital. The team, accompanied by Ambassador to Venezuela, Commander Aquinas Clark, left the island last Friday along with officials of the Venezuela Embassy to conduct preliminary site assessments and coordination pending formal authorization of full-scale deployment. Meanwhile, a specialized search and rescue team comprising members of the Barbados Defense Force and the Barbados Fire Service is now in Caracas, the Venezuelan capital, to support ongoing humanitarian efforts. SAT led by Captain Sean Broom of the BDF, brought with them advanced urban search and rescue equipment to aid in critical recovery operations. According to SAT, the deployment underscores Barbados' commitment to regional solidarity and swift response in times of crises. Barbados now joins a host of countries in the South American country in the aftermath of last week's 2 earthquakes. Hundreds of people have died and the count continues. The death toll, many say, is expected to climb. According to the United States Geological Survey, the 2 earthquakes were a rare phenomenon called a doublet. This occurs when 2 quakes of a similar magnitude occur in quick succession, often causing more damage than a single event.
Have you heard about the new soft weave bathroom tissue with Thanks for staying with us. And now for a look further afield. A senior Trump administration official said the U.S. and Iran are still talking, with technical discussions planned for the coming days, even as Iran's Revolutionary Guard launches missiles at American bases in the Gulf. Here are details in this report.
Tensions continue to flare as the U.S. and Iran exchange strikes in the Persian Gulf. Iran launched attacks on Bahrain and Kuwait following U.S. strikes and a further test of the fragile ceasefire agreement signed by both countries. The attacks come after U.S. forces carried out a second wave of strikes against Iran in response to Iranian drones targeting ships in the Strait of Hormuz. UN Ambassador Mike Waltz said the U.S. will militarily take down Iran's infrastructure if Tehran tries to control access to that key waterway.
The Iranian regime thinks for a second that President Trump is going to stand by while Iran continues to attack international shipping without a response, or our bases without a response. They're sadly mistaken.
He made the comment on Fox News Sunday.
Meanwhile, analysts say the U.S. President Donald Trump is facing mounting pressure to keep negotiations on track heading into the midterm election. Here are more details in this FSN report.
Trump is once again threatening to annihilate Iran since signing that interim deal about 10 days ago. Trump has said that he could resume military action on Iran, but this is his most menacing response since the ceasefire extension. Now, on a social media post, Trump warning Iran that there may come a point when the U.S. will no longer stay reasonable and will be forced to complete the job, referring, of course, to the U.S. bombings on Iran. He says, quote, if that happens, Iran will no longer exists. Now, in April this year, Trump made a similar threat to Iran, saying a whole civilization will die tonight. But beyond all the tough talk, right, Trump wants this war in Iran over with. After all, a closed Strait of Hormuz means those higher prices at the pump, and that is not the economic story that Trump wants to be telling heading into the midterms in November. He needs trade flowing. He really needs some sort of win to sell to voters.
Meanwhile,
your sporting highlights are up next. Good afternoon, sporting fans. While Kemar Roach reached the landmark of 300 test wickets in leading the West Indies to an innings and 217-run demolition of Sri Lanka on the fourth day of the first test of a two-match series at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium in Antigua on Sunday. Trailing on first innings by 318 runs, the visitors were routed for just 101 half an hour after lunch as Roach led the fast bowlers' assault on Sri Lanka, that should read. His international career seemed over a year ago, only to be recalled to West Indies service amid a fast bowler's injury crisis for the tour of New Zealand at the end of 2025. In his first test since returning, the 37-year-old took second innings figures of 4 for 51. He became just the fifth West Indian to claim 300 wickets in the traditional format of the game when he bowled Asithna Fernando comprehensively to put his team 1 wicket away from victory. When asked if the second and final test starting on Friday at the same venue might be his farewell performance, Roach said, "Check me in the morning. Right now, we just want to celebrate this win, and then discussions will be had." Jaden Steele celebrated as the successor to Roach as the leader of the West Indies pace attack formalized the result when he shattered the stumps of a last man Lahiru Kamara to finish his first innings with figures of 3 for 14. Only former Sri Lanka captain Dinesh Chandimal offered any resistance to the West Indies Pace series with a top score of 43 before he was taken by John Campbell at first slip of Roach just after lunch, effectively signalling the end of the tourists. For Ruston Chase, this was his first win since being appointed to the helm a year ago. And that's your sporting highlights. Do stay with us. We do have a recap of the headlines when we return. Recapping the headlines that made the news today, island-wide diaspora spice replanting initiative rolled out on the weekend, and permission granted for Gulf fishermen's birthday festivities after protest action. In the region, 4 female teenagers died in a major accident in the Bahamas. On the international front, Iran and the US still in talks. And in sport, Roach reveals in landmark achievement as West Indies demolish Sri Lanka. This has brought us to the end of today's luncheon edition of news for today, Monday, June 29th, 2026. On behalf of the entire news team, I have been your presenter, Christlina John, thanking you for having joined us.